datang di Ende. Sampai jumpa, dah.
Hai, saya Ibu Tres, ibu dari anak Ende. Sebelumnya, ini anak saya timbang berat badannya tidak pernah naik. Setelah saya mengikuti kegiatan PMBA dan saya melakukan masak makanan yang bergizi, saya memberinya makan dan saya mulai timbang lagi, berat badan anak saya sudah mulai naik. Semoga naik terus tiap bulan. Terima kasih.
Hai sponsor, saya ini. Sekarang kami sudah terima air. Terima kasih buat sponsor. Dulu kami ambil air dengan jarak 1 km. Sekarang kami bisa ambil air dengan jarak yang dekat. Kami bisa menggunakan untuk keperluan kami, mencuci, memasak, kamar mandi, dan kamar WC. Terima kasih buat sponsor. Semoga sponsor dan keluarga sehat selalu. Thank you.
Halo, saya Ibu Santi. Saya pernah mengikuti kegiatan kebun gizi dan saya sudah pernah coba tanam di pekarangan rumah saya. Sebelumnya saya tidak tahu cara menanam kebun gizi. Sekarang saya sudah mengerti dan saya akan menanam kembali kebun gizi. Harapan saya semoga dengan adanya kebun gizi, keluarga saya gizinya semakin meningkat. Terima kasih.
Halo sponsor, saya Yanus. Sebelumnya saya belum terlalu memahami tentang mengasuh atau membimbing keluarga saya. Dan setelah saya mengikuti pelatihan PDC, banyak hal-hal positif yang saya terima dan saya bisa membimbing anak saya dalam hal belajar. Terima kasih.
Halo, saya Lucia Kigo, saya adalah ibu bayi balita. Tahun ini kami belum bisa menanam sayuran bergizi di kebun. Karena bibitnya sedang disiapkan, kami juga membutuhkan pelatihan dan dampingan agar bisa menanam sayuran di kebun gizi. Terima kasih, sampai jumpa.
Terima kasih, sampai jumpa, dah.
Halo sponsor, terima kasih. Sampai jumpa. Dadah. Halo sponsor, nama saya Diandra. Selamat datang di Ende. Sampai jumpa, dah.
Hai, saya Ibu Tres, ibu dari anak Ende. Sebelumnya, ini anak saya timbang berat badannya tidak pernah naik. Setelah saya mengikuti kegiatan PMBA dan saya melakukan masak makanan yang bergizi, saya memberinya makan dan saya mulai timbang lagi, berat badan anak saya sudah mulai naik. Semoga naik terus tiap bulan. Terima kasih.
Hai sponsor, saya ini. Sekarang kami sudah terima air. Terima kasih buat sponsor. Dulu kami ambil air dengan jarak 1 km. Sekarang kami bisa ambil air dengan jarak yang dekat. Kami bisa menggunakan untuk keperluan kami, mencuci, memasak, kamar mandi, dan kamar WC. Terima kasih buat sponsor. Semoga sponsor dan keluarga sehat selalu. Thank you.
Halo, saya Ibu Santi. Saya pernah mengikuti kegiatan kebun gizi dan saya sudah pernah coba tanam di pekarangan rumah saya. Sebelumnya saya tidak tahu cara menanam kebun gizi. Sekarang saya sudah mengerti dan saya akan menanam kembali kebun gizi. Harapan saya semoga dengan adanya kebun gizi, keluarga saya gizinya semakin meningkat. Terima kasih.
Halo sponsor, saya Yanus. Sebelumnya saya belum terlalu memahami tentang mengasuh atau membimbing keluarga saya. Dan setelah saya mengikuti pelatihan PDC, banyak hal-hal positif yang saya terima dan saya bisa membimbing anak saya dalam hal belajar. Terima kasih.
Halo, saya Lucia Kigo, saya adalah ibu bayi balita. Tahun ini kami belum bisa menanam sayuran bergizi di kebun. Karena bibitnya sedang disiapkan, kami juga membutuhkan pelatihan dan dampingan agar bisa menanam sayuran di kebun gizi. Terima kasih, sampai jumpa.
Terima kasih. Sampai jumpa dah.
Halo sponsor, terima kasih. Sampai jumpa. Dadah. Halo sponsor, perkenalkan nama saya Diandra. Selamat datang. Sampai jumpa, dah.
Hai, saya Ibu Tres, ibu dari anak Ende. Sebelumnya, ini anak saya timbang berat badannya tidak pernah naik. Setelah saya mengikuti kegiatan PMBA dan saya melakukan masak makanan yang bergizi, saya memberinya makan dan saya mulai timbang lagi, berat badan anak saya sudah mulai naik. Semoga naik terus tiap bulan. Terima kasih.
Hai sponsor, saya Indi. Sekarang kami sudah terima.
Okay, hello everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. But we're just really glad that you can all join us this night, and it's just such a special time that we get to hear from two of our trippers who have traveled with us to Ende to meet their sponsored child, to see the development in the community, and you get to hear more from from them later. But first of all, we just want to say, selamat datang, welcome to this sharing that we've organized. And for tonight, right, we just want to let you know a bit about the program that we'll be going through. So first of all, we'll be introducing a bit about World Vision for you guys who maybe aren't that familiar with what World Vision is about. And of course, the highlight of tonight actually is hearing from our two child sponsors, Priscilla and Rachel. They have some amazing stories to share. And when we have the Q&A session later, please do feel free to ask them any questions you have, or, ask me, our World Vision staff, any questions you have about child sponsorship or World Vision. And, what's very special about tonight, or why we are also wanting to share with you guys more about Ende, is because we are having this special event called Chosen in Ende. And what's special about it is really that instead of, typically child sponsorship happens by, us picking the child that we want to sponsor. But Chosen is special because this time around the child gets to pick you as their sponsor. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but to just dive right into what is World Vision. For those of you who have not very familiar with us, World Vision is a Christian humanitarian organization dedicated to working with children, families, and communities to overcome poverty and injustice. We serve all people, regardless of race, language, or religion. And we're also a child-focused organization because we really do believe that children are the next generation who can break the cycle of poverty. And when it comes to poverty, we don't just want to go over symptoms. We really believe in targeting root causes. And we want any change that we enact in the community to be sustainable, to go towards something long-term, that will really just be contributing towards better futures for vulnerable children and their families all across the world. Yeah. And we also believe strongly in transparency. So we're accountable to you, to the kids we serve, and ultimately to God. And that's a very big part about what we do. And why this transparency is so important, this sense of accountability, is because we are thankful that we are able to be present in as an international organization, I think around 100 countries, but for the Singapore office, we are supporting 23 countries with 16 area programs and, 17 projects in the villages, you see, and 11 disaster responses, all these different things that we are doing. And we are just very thankful that in FY22, we were able to reach, more than 2 million people, including over 1 million children, just through our transformational development work alone. So what do I mean by transformational development? Right. So you might have heard me earlier mention that it's important for us as an organization to really work towards long-term sustainable change together with communities. So how we do that is really our key strategies through an area program. What's an area program? It's this initiative that we work, we partner, with together for the communities that we are in to over a period of between 10 to 15 years, depending on how long it takes, between 10 to 15 years, we work together with the community to assess community needs, what are their aspirations, the needs in the communities, what do they really hope to see, or where do they really hope to see change in their community. And over the next 10 to 15 years, we implement those projects, building hope, building skills, building confidence until the community is ready for us to phase out. Why? Because the change that's been enacted is something they can now take over and continue running on their own. So this is really what we believe in. And World Vision has many, many years of experience running area programs in various communities. And where we are running an area program is, of course, Ende, the same area where we talked about this chosen child sponsorship thing. So how child sponsorship and area programs go hand in hand is that everywhere that we set up an area program, we are also simultaneously running a child sponsorship program. And it's really special because for every one child you help, for more benefit, when you choose to sponsor a child, that directly contributes towards the funding of the activities that benefit the entire community. So just to share a little bit more about Ende, Ende is this area in Indonesia. It's part of Flores Island. You can see that little circle over there. It's around that area. Yeah, and in our Ende area program, when we were first there, we were in discussion with the community, and there were some key challenges that were highlighted, namely in the areas of child protection and participation, just not having very robust systems in place, that will ensure the protection of child rights, and, just space for children to be empowered and participate as active members of their society. And there are also some healthcare challenges that the community were facing, especially in malnutrition and stunting, which are especially serious for the kids who are under 5 years of age. And then other challenges in healthcare were lack of access to clean water, lack of access to sanitation facilities, and some poor hygiene practices. And another key challenge that we identified was economic poverty. So the percentage of poor people in Ende, according to national statistics, is around I think above 21%, but the national average is only 9.8. So you see that actually economic poverty is much more serious problem in Ende, a challenge that the people are facing, compared to the national average of Indonesia, national percentage, in Indonesia as a whole. And I think part and parcel of these economic challenges were also the key livelihood activities in agriculture and selling of agriculture products, just being a challenge due to the landscape and existing farming practices. So where we are with the community in Ende at the moment is that we are at the phase of building hope and skills. And our goal is really, together with the community, is for there to be healthy, well-nourished children living in loving and safe family and community environments. So as mentioned, our child sponsorship program really works hand in hand with this area program. And so when you sponsor a child, your $45 a month is pulled together with other child sponsors, and that pooled money really goes towards community-based solutions so that everyone benefits. Yeah. And without further ado, I've been sharing quite a bit now. But what happened earlier this year is that some of our child sponsors who sponsored, they've been sponsoring children in Ende for a number of years. they signed up to join an official World Vision organized trip to visit the community and meet their sponsored child earlier this July. And I'm just, really glad to introduce our first sharer for today. Her name is Priscilla, and I'll just hand the time over to her so that she can share more about how her experience was like. Over to you, Priscilla.
All right, thanks, Sharon. Hi, everyone. Nama saya Priscilla, which means my name is Priscilla in Bahasa Indo. For myself, I've been a child sponsor since January 2019. Sharon, if you could move to the next slide. Yes, so I sponsored this girl called Elizabeth since 2019. So it's about 4 years, coming to 5 years now. 2019 was also the same year that I turned 30 years old. So at that time, I guess I wanted to do something special, and that's when I decided to sponsor a child. For myself, I've been also working in the social service sector, so I've known about World Vision, known about child sponsorship. I think if you visit World Vision's website, they have a lot of information about child sponsorship, a lot of FAQs. So I think quite a number of my questions were already addressed on the website, and that's how I eventually just decided to make that financial commitment and started sponsoring her in 2019. I think if you are attending this meeting today, I think you probably already have a desire to give back in some way, but maybe just wondering why child sponsorship and why Ende. So the rest of my sharing would be talking about addressing these two questions: why I chose to sponsor a child and why Ende. Right. So next slide. Yeah. For me, I think different people may have different reasons for giving back. Child sponsorship is quite a unique approach of giving back. And for me, it was essentially these three reasons, the opportunity to be able to connect with someone, with the beneficiary through letters. And because you are regularly communicating with the person, you get to watch her grow and progress through the years. And there's the opportunity to witness firsthand the impact you're giving through trips, child sponsorship trips. So let me delve deeper into each of those reasons. With child sponsorship, there's opportunity for letters, right? So if you already are a child sponsor, I encourage you to write letters, reply letters. Don't just give money every month, but take the time to correspond with sponsored child. I think there's not many other ways of giving where you have the opportunity for that kind of that really direct human connection and personal touch. Volunteering is another opportunity, another approach. But for me personally, quite a busy person, I guess. So I choose to give back by working in the social service sector. At the same time, I'm not a very patient person, so I'm not a social worker, not a nurse. But I still like that direct impact and the opportunity for the direct connection. So I think having the opportunity to correspond with the sponsored children through letters is great. And you get photos as well, at least once a year through the annual reports, yeah. And the next reason is that, as you regularly communicate with the child, through the photos, through the letters, you get to watch her grow and progress through the years. So these are photos of her over the years. I think you really get to see her grow, she's grown taller, looking more and more like a teenager, still faithfully doing household chores. Her favorite household chore is to wash dishes. That's one difference between her and me. I don't like to wash dishes, but yes. But yes, it's really that interaction with an actual person, right? Having regular updates through reports is one thing, and that's important. But I think also getting the letters and photos and just witnessing the person's growth over time is great. And finally, you get to witness firsthand the impact of your giving. So for me, when I went to Ende earlier this year, it was my first time meeting her in person. I think for both of us when we met, I think both of us were quite shy initially. She was also quite shy. Thankfully, through our letter correspondence, I knew of a song that she liked. And so I went to try and find the song on YouTube before I met her. Tried to learn at least the chorus of the song, which was in Bahasa Ende. And we sang the song. Yeah, I will not play the video of us singing the song, but yes, that was how we interacted, right? And I think it was great to be able to meet her in person, also meet her family, right? So the woman in yellow in the extreme left, that's her mom, right? And I think being able to meet your sponsored child in person is a very surreal experience. There was the opportunity to also give her gifts as well, right? So she's quite a sporty person, so I bought her a ball. Brought her something unique from Singapore. That's our NDP bag from this year. Yeah, and I think for me, at least when I chose to sponsor a child, I went in also with the view of wanting to eventually meet the child in person. Right. So which brings me to my next point of why Ende, right? Again, I don't think there's any particular right or wrong, but just sharing some reasons as to why I chose Ende. It's not only because it's beautiful, so it is a very, very beautiful place. It's quite different from the rest of Indonesia. There's no haze, no air pollution. Stepping out into the Jakarta airport is very different from stepping out into the Ende airport. So the air is clean, very beautiful skies, mountainous area, wonderful weather, right? And as you can see from these photos, we did have some free and easy time and some sightseeing time during the trip. For me, I chose Ende for a few reasons. One was looking at the program lifespan. So I think as Sharon shared earlier, typically World Vision, their work in an area is about 12 to 15 years. Some sponsors may prefer to be involved right at the start. Some prefer to be involved closer to the end of the program. When I started in 2019, that's about 5 years in. So I thought that was a good timing. Not too close to the end. And like I'm not a very patient person, right? So I'm not all the way at the start, but about 5 years into the program, I think that is a time when some work has been done, but you also get the opportunity to see the rest of the development in the area. A second aspect is about the poverty there. Actually, Indonesia, at least to me, based on the little that I've read in the news, Indonesia as a whole is doing quite okay as a country, right? But Ende in particular is unique because of its geography. So the poverty stats in Ende is worse compared to the rest of Indonesia, and in Ende in particular, because of the geography, because of the landscape where it's so mountainous, it's very difficult to build anything. It's very difficult to get resources in. During our trip, we had spent quite a number of hours going into the villages, and it's really a really bumpy ride. I mean, just to share, I was wearing a fitness tracker watch, right? The one that tracks, counts the number of steps. And when we spent 2 or 3 hours in the car, I never stepped out of the car, I never did any walking during those few hours. But because it was such a bumpy ride, my watch tracks as if we had clocked hundreds of steps during those few hours. So that's how bumpy the ride can be. Yeah. And with that, I think I guess I just felt that Ende has hope. You know, the rest of Indonesia is doing well. Politics and all that. Every country has its politics, but I felt Indonesia, you know, at least it's not that corrupted, I think. I guess I just thought there's still hope for Ende, and it just needs that extra intervention because of its hilly landscape, because it's very difficult for the people to live there. And with that intervention, I think the people really have potential to improve their lives. Yeah. And then I think the last point is really a personal preference, right? Because some of us, you may be willing to sponsor a child without ever visiting the child, which is okay as well. For me, I really wanted to meet the child in person. So I think it's also a matter of is that area a place that you're willing to travel to, right? So I wasn't I was a first time child sponsor, wasn't too keen on supporting children that are very, very far away. Wasn't too keen on supporting children in areas that for whatever reason I may not want to travel there, whether it's because of the weather or the food or whichever. So I think it's also looking at your own preference of where you want to travel to. Indonesia in particular, I guess I thought of starting somewhere closer to home in Southeast Asia. My church also has mission works in Indonesia, and I thought, having more opportunities to learn and use the language Bahasa Indo, whether it's picking it up through this trip and applying it for mission trips in Indonesia or vice versa, I thought that would be useful. So I think those are some of the reasons why I chose Ende. And I'll just share a little bit about our actual trip itself. So I think, again, as Sharon mentioned earlier, the change that World Vision strives for is really for, they want to make it sustainable, right? So I think a lot of the work they do is not just about, build toilet, build well, build school, and then just stop there, but it's also about training the people, whether it's in terms of child protection, in terms of voicing their rights, in terms of caring for their children, in terms of financial management and growing vegetables that would help with the nutrition of their children, managing their water and sanitation facilities, really giving the people training and education and resources, teaching them how to fish so that they can be fed for a lifetime. Yeah, so we throughout the trip we went to different villages to witness and listen in for some of the workshops, some of the programs that they have. In particular, for me, I think one of the highlights of the trip, apart from meeting my sponsored child, was also meeting children from this, what they call the Ende District Child Forum. So this is a forum where the children learn to voice their rights, speak up against bullying in school, speak up against abuse at home, learning what is right and what is wrong, what is acceptable to begin with. And I think just hearing the confidence, hearing the passion and conviction from these youth, even in the first photo, the guy on the right who's holding the mic, he's like the founder or leader of the group, and he actually has a cleft lip, but he spoke with such confidence, and I think that confidence was to see them feeling so empowered was really quite inspirational, and you get the sense that this is the next generation of leaders that can really lead Ende and continue the good work of World Vision beyond its work over 15 years and all. So that was inspiring. I think to also see the potential of how the impact can last, right, beyond this generation, beyond the 15 years here. And I just want to show a very short clip. This was not planned by the kids. It wasn't a performance that they prepared per se. This was really shot during just one of those I think free and easy times that we had, or times when we were waiting around, waiting for the next segment of the program. And these kids just spontaneously just did a song and sang for us. So just hope to come and witness the joy of these children, the spontaneous joy. So it's just a very short clip. There are other things that you can watch and read to find out more. So depending on your preferred mode of communication, you can read an article that was written by one of our trippers, Amanda. She has her own reasons also for choosing Ende. Her domestic helper, her kakak, was from Ende itself, right? And then World Vision Singapore also has on the highlights reel, they've got video clips of the trip. My Instagram is a public profile, so it's got a few photos and some of my reflections there. And then there's also World Vision's YouTube, right? So it has videos and other things from the other reflections from the trippers. So yeah, that's all for me.
Oops, moved that slide prematurely, but thank you so much, Pris. Yes, and well, okay, if you listen to all of the trippers, they really have some amazing experiences to share. Yeah, so you can take a picture of this page, or maybe we'll try and send actually some of the links into the comments box later on. Yeah, so you click through, just hear from more of our trippers, and just as if any of you have questions at this point, the Q&A box is there. Please do type in your questions there so that we can get to them at the end of this session. And one final thing, before I move on to our other tripper, and Pris says that the place was beautiful. It really was. I forgot to mention my desktop, my backdrop over here. This is one of the mountains we were at in Ende. And really, just so many places in Ende are just this beautiful. And the people are really beautiful also. It's a wonderful community to support, And, talking about wonderful community, wonderful experiences, Rachel has some really wonderful experiences and just special moments with the kids there as well to share. So happy to have her here. I'll be handing the time over to Rachel now. Do take it away, Rachel.
Thanks, Sharon. Maybe just a quick intro of myself. My name is Rachel. I'm a working mother of 2 teenage girls. And I have been sponsoring children since 2017, 2016. I started with other organization though, not with World Vision. And I'll tell you the reason why. In the end, I start with World Vision. So a little bit about myself also. I like gym rep and painting, gardening. I also volunteer at Rainbow Center because I really, really like to be around with children to see how they progress, through the different stages of their. So, about choosing why do I want to be a sponsor? I think I get a lot of this kind of questions. Some of you may ask yourself as well. How do I start? What makes me want to to sponsor a child? What difference do I make or can I make? With just a monthly contribution. I think for myself there was no specific reason. It's just my love for children. And and also like what Priscilla said, to give back, right? But it sounds like from what Priscilla was describing just now, she did a lot of research before she chose to sponsor a child from Ende. I wasn't as detailed as her. I simply picked a country that was closest to us, a country that I'm more familiar with as compared to like Mongolia, Vietnam, and Cambodia. I don't really, their language is probably something that I can't comprehend. In Indonesian Bahasa, maybe it's still a little bit, with our interaction with Malay language here. So I like I mentioned earlier on, I started child sponsoring with other organizations, but I didn't find it as engaging. I didn't get any updates on how the child progressed, how the child was doing, and so on. So I sponsored them for a few years, 2 of them, 2 boys. I think from one from West Bank and then another one from Aceh. And then I have stopped. So and I continue to, and then that's when I heard about World Vision from friends, and that's how I started with World Vision. So my aunt and I started sponsoring this little girl you see on the picture here. On the top, you can see her. We started sponsoring her when she was 6 years old. Besides the monthly contribution, we also sent her some birthday gifts, Christmas gifts. She will write letters to us. It started with a few words, because like maybe some scribbles, some drawings. And then it got longer and longer, the letter, as she grew older and older. And then she will show the picture of, the present that we sent it to her. And the last one that you see her with that smiley face, that was when we were in Ende. We bought some present for her, and she was so happy. You can see that, that from her smile. So for me, about what's special, Sharon asked me to talk about a special moment in Ende. So one of the agenda was to meet up with our sponsored child or children in Ende. While we didn't really understand each other's language, although some words still I can still comprehend and can understand, our conversation was facilitated through a translator, and we kind of communicate, with each other through our body language. And I don't know, it's just we just were able to connect immediately. I got a chance to know her better, about her family, and her grandmother, her interests and her aspiration. She wanted to be a nurse. And my older girl is also doing a nursing course right now. It's like it felt so real that so surreal that she's like another daughter that I have in Indonesia. It was also a chance for me, my aunt and I, to share about our story as well, because we didn't really write a lot of letters. We just sent her gifts, but in that in that couple of hours, we were and in that sharing session through that translator, we were just sharing with her how Singapore is like, what do we do, talk about her interests and so on. Then we played some games. I think Priscilla showed some of the pictures as well. We played games. One of the games was like a blow wind blow kind of a games where we have to choose another group without telling or without them knowing that they will be called next to perform the next action. So it was like a surprise thing, right? So and yes, there was like 4 groups, right? So she was in my group. My sponsored child was in my group, and there was this moment that her eyes and mine just met, and then she could instantly caught what I was trying to signal her with my eyes. To me, that was really a special moment, and the connection that I felt as if like we have known each other for a long time. I was just there for like an hour or two. We have not met each other, but to give her that eye signal and say, okay, let's choose the other team, that team, right? And she could just understand. I mean, that really, that was really a special moment for me. Then it goes back to that question, right? Do we really need a reason to sponsor a child, to make the first move to sponsor another child, or I think if you look at the pictures here, the smile you see in this picture is more than 1,000 reasons why I continue to be a sponsor. Then let's talk about the other reason that I continue to work with World Vision. Through this trip, I also got to understand more about how sponsorship work. Like I said, I didn't do as much research as Priscilla, so I was just giving giving that monthly contribution, thinking that $45 just go to her, and then she will benefit from it. She will the World Vision will help her put her through, continue to put her into the school, and she'll have some food to eat and so on, right? I frankly, I didn't really understand how this whole thing worked until this trip. Then I realized that our sponsorship has not only benefited the child that I'm sponsoring, but the entire community. Example, bring piped water to the remote villages, educate them on sanitation. They didn't even have a toilet like a couple years ago. They built toilets facility for the community, educating the mother about nutrition. You know, the list of things that Priscilla shared earlier on. So I was like, wow, my $45 can do so much. I mean, to me, I mean, Sharon, and maybe you can go to World Vision to read more about it as well. And the other thing is the commitment and the effort put in by the World Vision field staff working with the community and their unconditional love is something that amazed me. The World Vision field staff, they could pinpoint and call the name of every single child in those villages. And that shows that they are not just, you know, there taking our money and then give it to the community and then say, okay, you know, you do it yourself. But they are there, the field staff actually are there to work with the community, you know, their love for the children, and really to see how our money is being used and for the benefits of this entire community. So I think the topic today is really about chosen, right? So you have probably gone through, you know, when you want to start sponsoring a child, you probably go through the World Vision website and go through all the different profiles and thinking, who should I choose to be my sponsored child? Do I choose the same birthday months, the big eyes, straight hair, curly hair? I went through the same thinking process when we chose our first sponsored child. So let me share with you the privilege of being chosen, right? So one of our event was in this Ende primary school. I've never been so blessed and honored in my life to be chosen by someone whom she thinks could protect her. You know, my daughter didn't have a choice. I gave birth to them, so you know I have to protect them. But for this little girl that you see in the picture here, that special moment, you know, happened in this school. So there was about 60, 70 primary school, five youngest, about 5 to 6 years old, and then the older one is about 11 or 12. I think that's about similar to Singapore primary school system. There was only one principal. I think 2 or 3 teachers that were sent from the government, and the rest were World Vision and the volunteers from the community. So this whole school is run by, you know, just one principal, 2, 3 teachers from the government, and then the rest are the volunteers. We started to have some games with the children. So we had to explain to them. We tried to explain in Bahasa, they don't seem to understand. So all of us, we demo our game, how to play with the kids and so on. And there was this little group, small group of younger girls who were so afraid and too shy to join. So they were just standing there and watching. And there was this little girl, curly hair, you can see in this picture, right? Dressed in oversized uniform. She was wearing a pair of slippers, not even shoes. And she was carrying this handbag. I asked her, whose handbag is it? And through the translator, you know, they told me that it's her mom's handbag. So she needed to carry something to school, right? Everyone has a bag, so she just carried her mom's handbag to school. And she was just following me, staying very close to me throughout the entire time I was there. We were playing the games there. every time, someone came to ask her to join, she will look at me and gave me that look. And it's like, no, I don't want, please help me. I need you to say no to them. She was just clinging to me. That was the moment that I felt the connection with her. My mother instinct, the mother instinct in me kicks in as well. And I kept assuring her that she'll be okay, just stick with me. So she just sat quietly next to me at the side of the school field watching the other children playing. And she was, you see the water bottle there? She even held on to my water bottle, play with it, and then drank from it. So, and we continue with the after the game, the trippers, we continue with other activities in the school, visit the other school facilities and so on. But that first moment, the look in her eyes to tell me that, I need your help. Please help me. That really, left a mark in my heart. That was like a love at first sight to me. The sight that told me that, she needed me. And I thought that's how I have been chosen by this. So I told the staff, help me find out about this girl. And then, like I said, right, they know her name straight away. They just mentioned her name, but they needed to find out whether, she has been sponsored or not, but they know her. So it's like any child that you just pinpoint, you point it, then she will tell you what's her name. So yeah, so after we went back to the city, and I was told that she's not sponsored yet. So happy that I could sponsor her. So that's how I was being chosen by her. So I think to sum up, before I end this, right, I just wanted to go back to those questions that have been asked. Why, what makes me want to sponsor a child? How do I help all the children? Where do I start? What difference can I make or do I make? Sharon, the next slide, please. So if you think about it, a monthly contribution of $45, this picture on the left-hand side, is equivalent to 2 McDonald's family meals. Right? You spend $45 buying 2 McDonald's family meals, or just 5 venti drinks, size drinks from Starbucks, 6 Haiti, or a movie night out with a family. But on the other hand, this $45 can actually help, change a child's life. I mean, as you have witnessed, I witnessed in this Ende trip how our small contribution has transformed a child's life. Bring pipe water. They didn't have access to water, so the child has to actually go to the well, draw the water, walk back up kilometers, with that heavy bucket of water. No toilets. They were defecating on the ground. They didn't know that, about hygiene, sanitation. Many of them were very young. They were being, told to stay at home, look after their younger siblings, not going to school. So I believe that this small little contribution every month, by giving up 2 McDonald's family meals, can actually help break the poverty cycle for this little girl, or for the children in Ende, by keeping them in school. And I think if we join hands, our small contribution together will make a very big impact in a child's life and the entire community. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you, Rachel. Yes. It's so wonderful to hear from you. Yeah, it's no, actually, yes, thank you for your last slide. I think it really puts into perspective, like how $45 a month really goes a very long way, and of course, it's us like giving up some things in our personal lives here and there, but it really can go a very long way. Yeah. Okay. Mm, I see. Okay. Yes, so you all of you, whether you're in our Zoom session or you're on Facebook Live, if you have questions, please do like type them down right now. My colleagues who are over here, they will be helping to man that. And I think we have one question on tax relief, but before that, I think am I correct? Is there Priscilla, you have something to add? Is that the
Yes. Yeah, so I saw the question on tax relief. I think someone asked if there's tax relief as we do child sponsorship, and I thought I'll just help to answer that question as well. I think from the perspective of a child sponsor as to why we still went ahead with this. So yes, I did my research. I'm a former journalist, so I'm the detailed kind of person, and I tend to do my research. And that question about tax relief is also answered in the website, so they really have a lot of FAQs if you have questions. And I consciously chose to still sponsor a child despite knowing that there's no tax relief. So in Singapore, there are various charities, right? Particularly for those that impact people in Singapore, there are what we call IPC, Institution of Public Character, IPC charities and non-IPC charities. The IPC charities tend to have more accountability standards to adhere to. So donors do enjoy tax deduction, but for World Vision, because their impact is on communities overseas, that's the main reason why they don't have the IPC status. And I think, I guess personally for myself, I think Singapore is already very blessed. Of course, we still have disadvantaged groups, we still have vulnerable groups, which is why I still work in the social service sector, helping certain people in Singapore. But there are also many other communities overseas that require help. And I think Rachel also shared that, $45 a month, actually, if you do the math, if you cut down a little bit on the Starbucks and the bubble tea, it's not that big an amount. So it's quite feasible. And I think that's for me why I chose to still sponsor a child despite not having the tax relief. Yeah.
Chris, I'm very impressed by your depth of knowledge. Yeah, but as Chris mentioned, yeah, so no, just to repeat and summarize, for those of you who are curious as to why we don't have tax relief, it is because our World Vision is registered as a foreign charity, because the majority of our beneficiaries are overseas. So that's also the reason why we don't have IPC status that would allow us to have this tax exemption. Yeah, and that really means also that we truly appreciate each and every one of our sponsors. I think you heard from Rachel and Chris today. I myself am very touched actually by what both of you have shared today. And I think you just really see that they have so much heart. Yeah, and a lot of our sponsors really have this heart. So if you have this heart too, to really just, want to bless a child, want to sponsor a child, please don't hesitate to. Yeah. I guess, maybe folks, we're running a bit over time, but maybe, if I can ask, just the two of you, one more question, just to wrap up this session. Before I share a bit more about how some of you, if you are interested in signing up for Chosen, how you can sign up for it. Yeah. So my question is, I guess, Priscilla and Rachel, was there, just out of curiosity, after you guys met your sponsored child, I'm sure writing letters, is different than meeting them in person, was there anything about your sponsored child that you were very pleasantly surprised to learn about, or you really appreciated, during your conversations and interactions with the both of them? I see Priscilla still unmuted, so do you want to go first, I guess, before Rachel?
I think for me, two things. I think one, definitely you can't sing song over letter correspondence. So the bonding over music was nice, and I guess you get to see I don't know if I would call it teenager side, but it's interesting to hear the songs that the kids like, right? So and I think when you have conversations with the children in person, there's just more opportunity to have more prolonged, like longer conversations. In letters, it's a little bit I don't know if it's staccato, but like short, yeah. And you don't want to write too long because they're very young. I don't know how much they want to read. So so I guess being able to meet them in person, it's an opportunity for a more long drawn out conversation. So we were talking about her family, her brothers. She's the only girl in the family and she's the eldest. So she was talking about how annoying her brothers are. So that was quite funny. So I think that was one nice moment. I think the other surprise is this is less of a personal less personal and specific to the child, but I was asking about because she's interested in sports, right? So I was asking her about badminton. Because I know Indonesia is very good for badminton. They've won a lot of medals in badminton in the Olympics. But I think what surprised me was that I think when it comes to television in Ende, they don't really have television and they may not really be following the Olympics. So while the rest of the country is rejoicing over all the medals that Indonesia won in the Olympics, that access to information is still limited and perhaps a luxury in Ende, right? Already having electricity you may or may not have it. So if you get TV, lagi best. The first essential is actually maybe a fridge rather than TV and entertainment. So I think that was interesting to know that we've got free to air TV and we think free to air TV is not good enough. We've got Netflix lah, Disney Plus lah, and whatnot. But here at Ende, people at Ende may not even know about that they have fellow nationals, Indonesian nationals that have won medals at the Olympics.
See, thanks, Priscilla. Yeah, Rachel, do you have anything to share about this? Like after meeting your sponsored child in person, was there anything that surprised you or delighted you? Was special about that moment compared to just talking to her through letters? Oh, sorry, Rachel. Could you unmute yourself?
Yeah, so like I said, we didn't really write letters, a lot of letters. So meeting her in person, the first surprise was, wow, she was grown so tall. She was even taller than me.
Oh, she was
Yeah.
taller. I see.
Yeah, taller than me. And I mean, when we sponsored her, she was only a little girl, right? So she was taller than me. And I think that the thing is the body language, to be able to sit beside her and to feel it even though we are not, speaking each other's language. She doesn't understand English, and I don't really understand Bahasa Indonesia. So yeah, it's just that, sitting down and connecting. That was the special moment for me.
Okay. It sounds awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. No. Oh, I guess, wow, okay, it's truly like watching because you mentioned that she's like a daughter, like she became like another daughter to you, right? It's really like, wow, your sponsored child has grown up so much over the years, and there's just a lot of delight and like looking forward to just watching her like continue to grow, right? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Thanks so much, Rachel, and thank you so much, Priscilla. I guess just to end this session, I'll just be sharing a bit more about chosen, and if some of you are wondering actually what does it mean to be chosen, how does the whole process look like? I just think maybe I'll just let you guys watch this short video about how we call it a choosing party. So basically, actually after you've submitted, your application, your name, your photo to say, hey, I want to be chosen by a child in Ende to be sponsored. A choosing party will be held with all the kids there. Rachel mentioned our very dedicated field staff. They really are amazing and they really love the kids a lot. So we try to make it a very celebratory celebratory event for the kid. And it's a very special moment for them as well, a special moment to start this sponsorship journey. So do enjoy this video. Yeah, so as you guys can see, they really make it a whole affair, and how you sign up. Okay, how do you sign up to be chosen, right? Okay, let me just dive straight into the details. You saw that they had all these photos lined up, and all the kids gathered together. So the first step to it is you visit our website, you sign up and submit your photo. And actually all of those photos there, they'll gather the children, who are waiting to be sponsored. And every single person who signs up will get a chance to be sponsored. And with this child, we'll look at your photos, based off the photo, decide who they want to be their sponsor. And if you heard Rachel's sharing, it's a very special moment. Why? Because afterwards, you will get to find out the reason why your sponsored child, or why your child decided to pick you or choose you. And it's a feeling unlike any other, truly. Yeah, to know that this is a child who has chosen you. And we really believe, that this is just, the first step to empowering children with the power of choice, because as kids, many adults in their life make the decisions for them, about their futures, whether to study or not to study. This act of just the child being given the power and the freedom to choose their sponsor just changes the way the relationship starts. It's just a very special beginning to this journey for both yourself and the child. And after you've received the news on who your sponsored child is, you will get to see your gifts at work. Priscilla and Rachel have shared, you guys will receive reports. You can write letters to your sponsored child. You can even visit them, on World Vision organized trips. And you will just really get to see how this $45 a month they're contributing goes such a long, long way to just benefit not just your sponsored child, but the whole community, and you get to celebrate that progress with them. Yeah. And so that is all for our session tonight. We just really thank all of you for joining in. If at any time, you guys have more questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. You see that website there is for Chosen, but of course on our website we also have an inquiry page. We also have the World Vision number, which is 6922 0144, if I am not wrong. If I got it wrong, it is our contact details are on our website as well. So please don't hesitate to contact us, find out more, and sign up for Chosen. Thank you so much for attending this Zoom session and the Facebook Live. We'll say goodbye and good night to you guys now. Thank you. Yes. And big thank you to you, Pris and Rachel, as well for sharing.
Thank you. Bye. Good night.
Good night.